I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Arakwal people of the Bundjalung Nation, and pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Human Design Podcast with me, your host, Emma Dunwoody. I'm a qualified master coach and human behaviour specialist, as well as being a qualified human design coach. And I work with clients every single day to answer the big questions. Who am I? Why am I here? And what is my purpose? I also assist them to transition from the person they think they should be to the person they really are on the inside. I teach people how to actually live their design instead of just knowing it. And if this is something that you want to do too, well, stay tuned or reach out for private coaching or Human Design Unpacks, where I show you exactly how to live your design.
Hey everybody, I'm just quickly dropping in to let you know that we are aware that the sound in this episode is not brilliant. We've done everything that we can to make it better. However, there are bits where you might experience a little bit of inconsistency in the sound. We do apologize for that, and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again on any future episodes. Apart from that, enjoy this awesome episode of the Human Design Roadmap. Hey, before we get into today's episode, I want to share an incredible opportunity for you to create what I believe is one of the most powerful foundations to transformation, happiness, well-being, vitality, abundance, all of these incredible results that I've experienced over the last number of years. And that is with the FLFE. I know, if you've been around a while, you've heard me bang on about it. But now I'm working with these guys because I believe so strongly in this business. In 2019, we put the FLFE, the Focused Life Force Energy, onto our home. And from that point, everything in my life amplified in a good way. And we're talking about a time in the world where everyone was freaking out. We were living in lockdown. Everything felt challenging, yet myself and my family seemed to be having the time of our life. I went from $35,000 to $350,000 that year in my business, not to mention the improved relationships, the harmony within our family, the health that I've watched this FLFE help me create and amplify, even healing things like broken bones and childhood asthma. It has been such an incredibly impactful thing in my life and my world. I mean, in lockdown, I didn't even want to leave the house. None of us did. Like, we were the only people who were really happy to be locked in a house, cut off from everybody, because the FLFE felt so incredibly good. Now, it's my belief that the way that this really works is because we're operating from this higher consciousness. It puts us in this place where it's like living and being and working and acting from a temple. How is that a good thing? Well, that means that we have access to higher frequency, higher consciousness. It means that every question we ask, we're going to get a higher frequency answer. Every time we want to heal something in our body, we have a higher frequency energy behind our healing. Everything gets amplified because everything is higher on the consciousness scale, meaning that we get where we want to go faster. And look, that's really been my results. I think one of the things that I love so much about it is noticing how much I really trust, love, and back myself. And I really think this has got so much to do with it. My plants are thriving, my animals are thriving, my kids are thriving. We're all thriving because of this FLFE. And I really believe that it is fundamental for any transformational journey and really vitality and spiritual evolution for everyone. So if you're curious, go check out the links in the show notes. You can do your free trial. No obligation, no credit card, no nothing like that. And then if you decide to sign up, it's super cheap. It's less than a coffee a day a week. It's a really, really affordable, powerful thing that you can do for yourself to completely transform your life. So go check it out. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome to today's episode. I will be focusing on the next step in our human design roadmap, which is really making it as simple as possible for you to run your experiment. Like, what does that mean? I mean, what is the point of having all of this information if you can't actually embody it, integrate it, live your design, and actually transform your life and get the results that you've been chasing? I mean, seriously, what's the point? So that's what this series is all about. It's literally about getting you a really simplified roadmap, because of course my superpower, my vocation is all about making human design simple for you so you can get results. So today we're actually going to put a little bit of a pause button on. Okay, why are we pausing? I don't want to pause. What do you mean pause? But seriously, we're pausing because I want to actually review what we've got already, and I'm going to give you some really concrete steps, actions, things that you can be doing to be running this experiment. So I want to review this whole experiment piece, okay? What does that mean and how do we do it? That's what today is going to be all about. So why we call human design an experiment is because when Ra Uru Hu actually channeled all of this information in, it was very clear that this human design thingy was an experiment, meaning that each individual tries out what they learn and then decides for themselves. Okay, it's not a dogma. It's not another rule for you to live by. It's not someone telling you who you are. It is an experiment. And within the human design frame, they give us all of these different areas to experiment with. Obviously, the most important, the primary one, is decision making, and of course, how our energy interacts with the world. So that's two, but you know what I mean. So today, we've looked at type, strategy, authority. We've also looked at mindset, okay? And today what I want to do is I kind of just want to break it down into an even simpler process for you that is literally how you run your human design experiment so far, all right? So often when we come to human design, especially like when I got to human design, what happens is we arrive at this place when not only are we looking to change something in our life, we're probably whatever it is that's going on in our life, and we're looking for a solution. All right. Often when we come to human design, we've been looking everywhere else for that solution, except for being trying to look inside of yourself. In fact, you might even, like I did, resonate that you know all the answers are inside of you. However, it's that thing that used to just give me the shit so much. And that is that all the answers are inside of me, but how do I get at them? So when you come to human design, you have a bunch of conditioning. You're also well practiced in taking on other people's strategies. You've probably got dogma that you're trying to let go of. So it's easier for you to take up new dogma, being knowledge of human design. So we want to first and foremost be super, super conscious that this is a fun experiment that you are learning with your mind. It's not until you embody it, until you integrate it into the body, that you're really going to see results with human design. I mean, I don't know about you, but I see that with like air quotes out there that have so much knowledge, like they run rings around my level of knowledge. However, they're not getting the results in their life because they're not actually living it. So this is what I want to do for you. I want to give you a really simple plan. So once you have come to human design, you've got all these things going on, you know that you're going to be learning it through the head, you're going to be learning it through the mind, but it's this first and foremost, the thing I want you to understand is it's this journey to embody. I know you would have heard me say a million times, human design is all about getting out of the head and into the body, but how specifically do we do that, right? How specifically? Especially when what's going on most of the time when you come to human design is that your ego, your mind, it's like chit chat, chitty chit chat. You know that line from Kung Fu Panda? And it's really loud. Okay, so the ego is really loud. That constant talk in your mind is very loud. Whereas as you come to human design, when you start to learn these things about yourself, or these themes, these energetic themes or archetypes that are playing out within your energy, you're actually going to notice that they're more subtle because it's a subtle energy. You may have noticed that even in conversation with spirit, God, universe, source, or Gus, as we call that energy, you might notice that it's quieter, it's more subtle. And what that leads to is us questioning ourselves, like, is that real? Did that really happen? Did I feel something? Did I not feel something? The deeper you go, the more subtle things are going to be at first, until you can, and then, you can more confidently let go of the bigger ego voice in your head, or you can trust the subtle energy more than that doubting mind, or that really reasonable mind that has a really good reason why maybe you shouldn't make that choice. So the whole point is that we want to get to this place where we start to embody it. And this is the best place. Once we have type, strategy, and authority, this is where we want to really start our experiment. Okay, so grab a piece of paper and a pen. I'm probably going to wing a couple of questions out there, but I have a few specific questions I want to ask you. So stay tuned, write them down, and reflect on them. Because remember, at the end of the day, you are your own guru. I can't give you the answers. I can give you the framework. I'm across of planning. That's what I'm good at. I can give you the framework. I can give you the strategy. I can help you focus on what matters. I can help you build the skills. I can help you to balance your work and your life. I can help you. I can support you. This is what I'm here to do. However, at the end of the day, you are the guru. So how much responsibility you take for this experiment, and actually even stopping here, because I know a lot of you will be like, yeah, but I want to get to the gates. I want to get to the channels. I want to get to the centers. I want to understand my incarnation cross. I want to know all the rest. If you have the discipline to stop here and experiment with this, even if it's a week, if it's 2 weeks, if you're like fully into this and you want to give it a month, then do it. Whatever works for you. I mean, I'm a line 3 MG, so I was really messy about it. I did a bit of this, a bit of that. However, my superpower is also to simplify it for you. So this is the way that you can most simply integrate and live the knowledge of human design. So strategy and authority are our number one places that we need to. This is the thing. If we understand and live by our strategy and authority, then every single other thing in our design will fall into place. All right. Type isn't a make or break. Okay. I'm so pumped and excited because tomorrow I start with got 2 new private clients starting tomorrow. And one of them is completely defined except for the sacral projector. Oh my God, could I be more excited, working with her, because it's going to be a real paradigm shift for my experience with projectors, which is super exciting. Anyway, I deviate. What I want you to do is I want you to understand that type, we don't really have to worry too much about. What resonates with you, pick it up, run with it. But what doesn't, don't worry about it, because definition, when we get there, is way more important than type, or even, understanding how your aura necessarily works. I mean, that's valuable too, but don't let it overcomplicate the experiment. So what you want to be doing is you want to be focusing on how the universe speaks to you through strategy and really defining what that means for you. All right. So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, where in the past have I made a really great decision, or a decision that worked out really well for me, that was really enjoyable, felt really in alignment? All right. And once you have, and feel free to pause this podcast, once you have that, I want you to ask yourself the next question. How did I come to that decision? What did it look like? What did it sound like? What did it feel like? How did it turn up in my life? Was it instant? Was it made over time? Did I feel it in my body? Was it just I instantly knew? Did I hear a voice in my head? That's what I want you to get clear on. What were the steps to making that decision? All right. Now, this actually goes for authority as well. So you can do them both put in together, but you can just ask these same questions again with your authority. But what you're looking for with strategy is, how specifically does your strategy turn up in your external reality? All right. So if you are a manifester, I mean, it's a bit different for you because it's not external, it runs through you. But what does that creative force feel like? What does that feel like when you want to initiate something? What does it feel like when you're on a creative, on that creative surge or urge or whatever you want to call it, and you inform someone or you don't inform someone. Basically, what I'm getting you to do is get super curious about what you're already doing, because this is the trick, right? You're already doing and being and living by strategy and authority. You're probably just not doing it to its greatest potential. Okay. So we're looking for that time in our lives that's already happened where we can get evidence of how strategy and then authority shows up for us. Because once we have clarity around that, once we become conscious of the unconscious, then we have the choice to change it, improve it, do more of it, create a better habit around it. We can pick ourselves up when, let's say, it's no, I don't, and then our mind jumps in and tells a story. If we're an emotional being, then all of a sudden we start to see how we know decisions kind of come into our aura and they kind of percolate for a while. And then all of a sudden, for me personally, it's like a surge of energy. It's like, okay, it's a go, or it's just I couldn't think of that. Like that is, I've got no interest in that thing. And it happens quite quickly all of a sudden for me. The percolation is quite a while. And of course, if you're an emotional being, pay attention to decisions made in the high or the low of your emotional wave. Notice decisions that are made when you're more balanced or you give it time to ride out the wave. Notice how that's turned up in your past already, okay? So asking yourself those questions, you're looking into the past, you're looking at the decisions that went well. What did they look like, feel like, sound like? How did they turn up? What did strategy specifically look like? How did that turn up in your life? What was an invitation? What does an invitation look like for you? Is it really super clear, like someone saying, can you specifically help me with this? Or is it an invitation of, I'm lost and I need help, which isn't maybe directly related to you or something like that? So kind of get clear about that. And of course, with all the authorities, just play out with your authority. With a sacral being, it's easy for you because you're constantly responding to everything. So make sure, let's say if you're doing your social media, if you're a generator or a manifesting generator and you've got social media and you feel really stuck, like you don't know what to post, you don't know what to create, it's probably because you have nothing to respond to. So play with responding. Like maybe your client says something, maybe you have a session, maybe your partner says something, and all of a sudden you feel inspired to respond. Write that down and do a post from that. So really starting to experiment with making decisions from the body, okay? Making sure that you use that authority, that you use probably isn't the greatest word, but you're in alignment with that strategy and authority. I had another one just today happen. And this is the way it turns up for me a lot. I actually got in the car last week after the gym. I looked at my phone on Instagram, which is pretty rare for me. I looked at Instagram and there was Elle Macpherson doing a Insta Live with Will Cole. And in that moment, I kind of responded and was like, I think I should do some Insta Lives. That sounds great. And then on our team morning call this morning, Brittany, who's my head of marketing and also a manifestor, says, I think we should do Insta Lives. And of course, because I'm following my strategy and authority, I've had time to even sit on it. As soon as Brittany says it, I'm like, yep, we're a go. Let's just book it in. So pay attention, run the experiment. How do these turn up for you? How they turned up in the past, and get as clear as you can. Now, remember, especially if you're an emotional being, you're only ever going to be 86% clear. So don't get stuck in, well, this time it worked like this and that time it worked like that. It doesn't matter. Just get the data. Just ask yourself the questions. Have a look at how it's turned up in the past. And then we want to start to focus on the future. So the question is, what specifically do I want to do more of to be more in alignment with my strategy and authority? And then the second question is, what specifically do I want to do less of to be more in alignment with my strategy and authority? So it's really bringing awareness, and in many times bringing awareness to the mind. Okay, so more of is going to be everything that you've just discovered about the past and when you have been in alignment with strategy and authority. You're going to want to amp that up, but you might want to throw into that as well, like when I set up my week, or whenever I get asked to go for a walk or catch up with friends or whatever, like using what you just learned about your strategy and authority and, consciously choosing that that's the practice you're going to take, then you want to become super aware of what you want to do less of. So less of allowing the mind to override the body's decision. Because ultimately, when you're in alignment with strategy and authority, these are a felt process, okay? And when I say feel, a better word is embodied. I'm working a lot and deepening my understanding around my own intuition and all the different clairs. And I think there's a really fine line. We say feel a lot, like we want to feel it in the body, but I think there's potentially a lot of confusion, because if you're claircognizant, a feeling in the body is something that just all of a sudden appears and it's in the body and you don't know why and you don't know what it is. And then sometimes, poof, it's gone just as quickly. So you trying to get really clear on that feeling, that might be a bit awkward or uncomfortable. And if you're splenic, that would, that's your authority, then that might resonate with you. So you're trying to, get evidence of like, okay, well, what happens before it and after it, so that when those spontaneous moments of claircognizance, like clear knowing, just appear, you can trust them. So the whole point is that we want to get into our lived experience, our embodied experience of how we make decisions. And through these questions that I've given you, you can get the evidence of what works, what doesn't work. You're also making conscious the things that you want to do less of and the things that you want to do more of. Now, if you run this experiment, if you just keep doing this even for a month, that would be amazing. I would also encourage you to pick something simple to manifest, okay? Something to create, something to bring into reality. I would suggest that it's not necessarily an area of your life. Like if you're at a point in your business where you're, trying to hustle your butt off, even though, you don't, hustling doesn't get you there. Like you're trying to do everything and you just want to earn this particular number. Don't pick that. Pick something else. Pick something that doesn't have that much, you don't have that much attachment to, or, there's not those energies of desperation or need or must. Pick something that you want to manifest in the next month, and something that, that feels really good and light. And then use your strategy and authority to get you there. And then every day, what are you doing? You are recording your evidence on the daily. So just little bits and pieces of how you worked with strategy and authority, okay? And then any little bits and pieces that are getting you closer or giving you external clues or synchronicities or anything that's showing you that whatever you're focusing on manifesting is coming into your reality. But take it from someone who tries too hard. Don't try too hard, because often that can push it away. So just have fun, keep it light. It's just about strategy and authority. It's really not about that manifestation at the end of it. It's just practicing strategy. This will just fall into place. We can have fun running our experiment, getting to know our other themes, the other archetypes, understanding, whether it's our incarnation cross or our profile or whatever else it might be, any of the sequences through the gene keys. If we start with strategy and authority, it's almost like it's our fallback position. If we can trust that, then everything else becomes a lot more fun because we see results straight away. It's not like we have to do our shadow work before we fully step into our superpowers. We can be doing because our strategy and authority is always going to take us to our greatest potential as long as we're listening. So that is my exercise for you this week. This is what I want you to do. Go and run your experiment, simple strategy, authority, and start to get really conscious about embodying what you've already learned.
Thanks everyone for being here all the way to the end of the podcast. I hope you got lots of value out of it. I certainly had a lot of fun doing it. Could I please ask that you share this podcast with friends if you found it valuable? And also, bonus points, could you leave a review for me as well on Apple? It would be greatly appreciated. If at any point you would like to be on the podcast or you've got questions that you'd like me to discuss on the podcast, by all means, get on my socials and DM me. Everything you need is there in the show notes. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.